How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Many NBA players simply doesn't seem to age. Guys who's been around still seems like they're still at the halfway point of their careers, but staying in the league till whenever you want, like Udonis Haslem, simply not guaranteed for 99.9% of other NBA players, especially if you're nowhere near an NBA level type player, like Haslem still being on a roster, an anomaly. As long as some of these guys adjust their style of play, become knockdown shooters, anybody who can shoot the lights out in the NBA can have a solidly long career. Now, let's take a look at 6 players still shockingly in their 20s who's been in the league for over a decade now. Starting with Bismack Biyombo. Of course I'm gonna get this video out before he finally reaches 30, August 28th. Some of you might think he's at least between 32 to 35. The 6'8" center picked up by the Suns and actually had some nice moments. Numbers of 5.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, over 59% shooting, right around his career numbers of 5.2 points, 6.1 rebounds from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The 7th pick of the 2011 draft always has some age controversies since entering the draft. Says he was 18 coming into the league, but scouts weren't 100% sure. An Eastern Conference GM heard rumors that he could be anywhere from 23 to 26, and that was 11 years ago, with wild speculations younger than CJ McCollum, Kemba Walker, and Kyrie Irving. His greatest moment on the floor, 2016 Conference Finals versus the Raptors, became Dennis Rodman for one night. Game 3 versus Cleveland, 7 points, a whopping 26 rebounds and 4 blocks in a 15-point win, a career-defining moment which led to the summer of bad contracts. The Magic gave Biyombo himself a not-so-tragic reward of 4 years, $72 million, paying a 6-6 bench guy. Whether his age accurate or not, Biyombo did secure that bag. After his contract, nothing more than a vet minimum till his deal finishes. Some thought he might have already been out the league after 2021, averaging 5 and 5 due to starting center DeAndre Ayton missing ton of games and McGee in protocols and COVID making many players miss time. Biyombo was originally a 10-day deal, but averaged 13.5 points and 2 blocks in 2 games. Phoenix ended up resigning Bismack before the Ayton drama unfolded, who will also be back next season. One goes to wonder, if Biyombo had a star in CP3 earlier in his career, would he have been a more known NBA player? If he continues to produce solidly for 2023, maybe his age critics will eat their words. Andre Drummond of the Chicago Bulls. Many of you might think he's 32 or even 34, given how far off a cliff he's fallen. Now playing for a 6th different team in 4 seasons, having career numbers of 13.8 points, 13.3 rebounds on 54% shooting from the field in over 700 games, already 10 seasons in. Posting his very worst number since his rookie season. Seems like Drummond might not even make it to age 32, definitely past the halfway mark of his career. The fact that he just turned 29, absolutely mind-blowing. The number 2 high school player in the 2011 class, spent a year at UConn, will be remembered as one of the least popular 2-time All-Stars the NBA has ever seen. Low-key the best rebounder for his era, 4-time rebounding champ, All-NBA in 2016, already made $139 million for his career, just signed for 2 years, $6.6 million, likely won't even get 10% of his total earnings his next contract before being waived by the Cavs. Drummond making nearly $28 million for Cleveland in 2021, an absolute travesty. Signing for very little from the Lakers, only to disappoint, and even had a DMP in the playoffs, became a meme. The franchise hasn't recovered since. Part of that Harden package, brutal for Boston last postseason, got destroyed, while opposing Big Al Horford made Drummond look like the real 35-year-old out there. Horford played that series like he was actually 29. Very lackluster offensive skill after averages of 17.8 points, nearly 16 rebounds in 49 games for the 2020 Pistons. That felt like another lifetime ago, literally traded for a bag of chips. The team didn't even ask for much more. The biggest definition of empty stats on a bad team, time and time again, had a chance to prove himself on playoff teams, only to end up having an atrocious postseason record of 2-15 overall, swept twice as a member of the Pistons on the 2021 Lakers team with title aspirations. Some delusionally view Drummond as the missing piece, unplayable with Brooklyn, has not developed properly, makes boneheaded plays, can't shoot threes. Given how his career is gone, his NBA age playing like a half a decade older than his actual self.
Buy in the finish.
What is that?
That's bad defense.
Evan Fournier of the New York Knicks, the 29-year-old, the 20th pick of the 2012 draft, a super underwhelming season with the Knicks, career numbers of 14.3 points, solid offensive player and scorer, a good three-point shooter at 38% for his career, but when cold can be absolutely brutal. Not the best fit with the Knicks after many years of carrying the slightly below mediocre Orlando Magic. Many already forgotten his short stint with Boston, at times relied upon as the #1 option for Orlando, 10 playoff games with the Magic, a lackluster 12.6 point average on 35% from the field, 29 from 3. New York gave him 4 years, $73 million, which wasn't necessary at all. The team got worse from 2021. Jalen Brunson also being a score-first point guard, while Julius Randle also a score-first guy. We already seen the results of the Knicks, very streaky. Fournier's first season with the Knicks grading, I give it a C. Might come off the bench as a 6th man, not a defender that Thibodeau likes, could be a rough next couple seasons. Anthony Davis, the former #1 pick, looked like his prime might have already sailed. Tons of painful injuries since winning the 2020 bubble title. Davis's body continues to fail him. Every list of possible injuries you can imagine, Davis probably already had. Although nothing too severe, these minor injuries do add up. Many look for 1,000 different reasons to blame others for the Lakers' last 2 disappointing seasons, but the #1 reason is absolutely the lack of availability from their superstar power forward, who missed a little more than half his game since winning it all. The previous 4 seasons before 2021, from between the ages of 23 to 27, Davis's monster numbers of over 27 points, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, all the talent in the world. This is from the 2017 to the 2020 season, but his last 2 years since winning the title, 22.5 points, under 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, fewer minutes due to not being able to return to the floor plenty of times in the middle of games, ages 27 to 30, supposed to be a superstar's prime, but AD averaging his lowest points per game numbers since his 2nd season, hasn't averaged double-digit in rebounds for LA since doing so 6 consecutive times with New Orleans. In what seemed like Davis was going to take over the Lakers from LeBron and enter his prime, he's taking a step back. Russell Westbrook played more regular season games in the lone 2022 season than AD the last 2 years post-bubble. Now one of the more disrespected superstars, nobody gets mocked for their injuries more so than getting names called like always damaged or street clothes when trying to rush him back to play. His injuries get even worse. After losing to Phoenix, the MCL sprain, missed 17 games, and then a right foot injury against Utah, the Lakers knew their season was doomed. If he was able to stay injury-free and play about 70 of 82 games, there's no reason why Davis can't go back than his pre-title self and be a 25 to 28 point a game scorer, an MVP candidate, and Defensive Player of the Year caliber material. His hunger often questioned. Time isn't going any faster for the soon-to-be 30-year-old next March. Crazy he was part of that 2012 USA team too. Bradley Beal, who just resigned with the Wizards on a ridiculous 5 years, $251 million Supermax extension, despite never getting out the 2nd round. Beal, now 29, already made over $177 mil in earnings, will make over $400 mil by the time he's 34. Many years, Beal was viewed as John Wall's #2. After that era, Beal did average over 30 points in back-to-back seasons, before being slowed by injuries in 2022, putting up 23 a game. Many call Beal having the worst contract currently, a good player and loyal, but a level below Dame Lillard, having a no-trade clause for a struggling franchise who hasn't even won 50 games in the regular season since 1979. Putting all their eggs in one basket, nothing has changed from the franchise, from overpaying Gilbert Arenas to John Wall, and now Beal. The old habits continue. Beal also not the healthiest of players, the team simply not winning many games in the first place, only as good as the #2 option on a contender, but the man in Washington, with that kind of money, fans can forget about the title hopes. After Beal looked to regress in 2022, Washington might honestly be better off blowing up the team and hitting the restart button. Not a great defender. The fact that Beal's next 3 seasons will get paid more than Giannis, an absolute travesty. Mo Harkless, who already played 10 seasons in the NBA, a blink of an eye. It felt like only yesterday the journeyman was playing for the St. John's Red Storm in the Big East. To be a one and done and taken 15 overall, made over $57 $37 million for his career, primarily as a small forward, always known as a solid defender but limited offensive game. Career numbers of 6.9 points, 3.5 rebounds. If Heartless can work on his 3-ball, that'll help extend his career. A Queens native, just turned 29 in May. After playing solid first 2 seasons with the Magic, Coach Jacques Vaughn wasn't a fan. Benched a lot in year 3, had good stints with Dame Lillard's Blazers as a starting small forward, a good defensive piece for the 2020 Clippers, before being traded for Marcus Morris. Heartless also played 11 total games with Miami before a season and a half with the Kings. Now with the Atlanta Hawks, will be entering his 11th season and enjoy another full 82-game NBA season in his 20s, another chance to earn a solid contract if he balls out. Honorable mention, although Steven Adams hasn't played a full decade quite yet, the fact that the 6'11" big just turned 29 in July 20th, the New Zealander continues to make his presence felt, being the strongest player in the NBA. No other player looked more different than Aquaman himself. As a rookie to now, a lovable role player who's been a great teammate, career numbers of 9.3 points, 8 rebounds, not the most skilled, but will set hard screens and will stop every single incident that involves his opponent trying to mess with his teammates. Came off having his best rebounding season at 10 a game, one of the few bigs who allowed Russell Westbrook to pat them boards for years, relatively healthy, under contract for 2023, will be making a shade under 18 mil and then a free agent. Every team loves to have a guy like Adams, won't be asked to do much on offense then get open dunks. I can see Steven Adams playing the league for another 8 years because of his physical presence, makes all the big tough guys look the other way. Other honorable mentions include Dennis Schroeder, 9 seasons in, will turn 29 mid-September, shockingly still a free agent. KCP still 29, while out the NBA for over half a decade. Anthony Bennett still 29 years young, an age where he's supposed to be in his prime. Let me know which of these players' age surprised you most on this list. I left out Anthony Davis, assuming most of you already knew his age already. Will any of these guys play until they're 37 or 38 years old? Will any of them still be in the league after the year 2030? Let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more content if you want to learn more about NBA history, gain more NBA knowledge. Just hit the subscribe button again. I love all of you. See you next time.